Good evening, folks. Thank you very much for joining us for yet another episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's a hot one tonight, and all the action is starting to hotten up, both on and off the park. There's so much to get through, so much to cover in tonight's episode, and boy, are we so excited to be bringing that to you. As I said, it is the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's our 127th episode, would you believe? It's our 6th season, and boy, is it just becoming more and more and more. Monday night is becoming more and more just a regular feature of the week. Or we certainly hope that is the case, folks. Tonight it is thanks to Geelong Galvanising, who have sponsored tonight's episode. They have asked that the Geelong Rangers Soccer Club be featured as our club in focus. So tonight, on tonight's show, we've got a doozy of a show. We've got so much to cover, so much happening, and we've got some great guests coming on the show tonight. Oops, not that one. We've got the wrong slide. Our guest for tonight, Alan Muscat. He's the new head coach of the Geelong Rangers senior men's team, and they were in action over the weekend up at Myers Reserve, a scorching Myers Reserve, mind you, on Saturday afternoon. And they took on East Q in the Australia Cup Round 3 clash. We'll find out all about that. We've also got some exclusive footage of that video, of that game as well. And we'll also be speaking to TIM SANTALUCIA. He's the president up at Geelong Rangers Soccer Club. I had the absolute pleasure of going up to Myers Reserve on Friday, doing a little bit of videotaping behind the scenes in the inner sanctum, so to speak. And we'll be bringing you that video a little bit later on. So a lot to get through. But before we do that, a little bit of a community announcement. Yes, cybercrime has hit the Geelong football community just moments before coming on air. It is believed that the Bell Park Soccer Club Facebook page has been hacked, and there was a post there that was saying it's been an amazing journey working with some Taylor Faulkner, blah, 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 blah. I highly recommend contacting her. Yes, it is a scam. Confirmation from the Bell Park president, Rose Puratina, just moments before. It is not legit. So if you do see it, don't click on anything. Don't find no Faulkner or whatever her name was. Just totally forget about it. Not to worry. Folks, we're going to have a very, very short break before we get into the news desk, and it is but even though heat played havoc with the football on the weekend, there was a lot of games called off because of the extreme heat. There's still a lot of football action that was able to be that was able to go on. So we'll catch up with all of that in the news desk straight after this short commercial break.
Fantastic service, food and coffee, well-stocked produce and groceries at very reasonable prices. 5 stars for the coffee served, beautifully made latte, everything you need in this wonderful little shop. Staff are always friendly and helpful, an absolute treasure to the community. These are just some of the glowing comments of praise by both regular and first-time customers of the iconic Birregurra General Store. The De Cunto family, well known in Geelong football circles, has run the iconic Country General Store since 2020, and apart from providing top quality service, they, along with their extremely pleasant and friendly staff, make sure that everything you could possibly need is well stocked and always available. Located at 59 to 61 Main Street in Birregurra and open all 7 days a week, the Birregurra General Store is open from 6 a.m. each weekday and 7 a.m. on weekends. If in Birregurra, pop in and say hello to Steve and Angus.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's time for the news desk. And first of all, before we, you did see that sneak slide before, we'll bring it up. And a bombshell was announced late on Friday afternoon by the Surf Coast Football Club. And that was announced that, yes, Ash Dafter, the coach of Surf Coast, had stepped aside due to work commitments. And this is what it was announced by the club themselves. As a result, Dennis Holt-Greffer, his assistant, has taken over the senior men's head coach, with long-term player Tom Langman stepping into the assistant coaching position. So that was announced on Friday. And in today's newspaper, in today's Geelong Advertiser, smooth change at the Coasters delves a little bit more into that article, into that coaching transition. Ash Dafter has worked very, very hard behind the scenes to ensure that there's a smooth transition. And Surf Coast are certainly hoping for a big year ahead. Rangers lead the cup charge for Geelong with a solid victory. We'll go into that a little bit in further detail just shortly. And in Friday's edition, Lions mentor sets higher mark. Ante Moric, the coach of Geelong Soccer Club, who also featured on last week's edition of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. He was mentioned in that article. That was on Saturday. In fact, that was Saturday's edition. So it's great to see soccer returning to the pages of the Geelong Advertiser. We need more coverage, that is for certain. Let's turn our attention now to the VPL competition. And the very, very first slide there is the ladder of the NPL. Not the NPL, sorry, the VPL 1 division. Unfortunately, North Geelong suffered their 5th loss on the trot, and they are anchored firmly down at the bottom of the competition standings. On the weekend, they travelled to Epping Stadium on Sunday, and in very, very hot and stifling conditions, North Geelong ended up coming back home with a 4-0 loss. This weekend, they are at home to fellow strugglers, Western United, who have got a game in hand. They will play their game against Eastern Lions in April midweek at their new venue in Tarneet. So Western United obviously has got a different squad to the squad that earned them promotion from NPL 3 last year. But North Geelong at the moment really, really struggling to put it all together. But, the hope is that they will be able to do that very, very quickly, very, very shortly. And that once they do manage to get that happening, then they'll be able to string a few good results together, and that will be the aim. Now we've got the Australia Cup that was played over the weekend. So our cameras were up at Myers Reserve, and Kai Williams, the former North Geelong player, scored in the 2nd minute. And boy, was that very, it was just, it's so quick that in the end, we didn't get the goal. It was scored, as we said, in the 2nd minute. In about the 75th minute, another North Geelong Warriors recruit, Hugo Leban, scored after coming off the bench and scoring with almost his first touch of the game. So great stuff there by young Leban. And we'll be talking to the coach of the Geelong Rangers a little bit later on. Alan Muscat made his debut in a competitive game on the weekend and a good win there against East Q. Unfortunately, Bell Park couldn't do the giant killing act against Strathmore Split on Friday night. A Nick Giorgio goal and an own goal in the first half kept the highly fancied State 1 side to a 3-2 lead, but the All Whites just capitulated in the second half and unfortunately came away with a 7-2 loss. But nonetheless, Michael Spazewski was quick to point out, coach of Bell Park, that it was a very good experience for his younger players to come up against such a polished unit as Strathmore was. On Saturday, Geelong Rangers, as we saw, 2-0 win. Kai Williams and Hugo Lebon scoring against East Q, either side of the halftime break, for a 2-0 win. And the Rangers now progress through to the fourth round. They will be joining North Geelong Warriors. Sebastopol Vikings, a State 3 outfit, they caused a bit of an upset, defeating our own Geelong Soccer Club 2-1. The only goal scored by Geelong was through, courtesy of Caleb Mikulich. And yesterday, the game between Riversdale and Corio Soccer Club, that was postponed due to extreme heat. And that game, well, probably will be replayed, dare I say, this coming weekend, because round 4 will be held over the Easter weekend coming up shortly in about 3 weeks' time. Moving along now to the JBNPL. We've also got a little bit of footage, I do believe, from the yesterday's game between, here we go. We'll just bring that up. And that was the under-15s game between Geelong and North Geelong at Stead Park. This game ended in a 7-0 win to the Warriors. Earlier, the under-14s took part in their clash, and North Geelong ended up winning 3-1 in that game. The under-16s and the under-18s, they had their games cancelled before a ball was even kicked due to the heat. That was quite sapping, quite energy sapping yesterday, all throughout the afternoon and indeed the early afternoon. So let's take a look at the ladder now. So the under-14s ladder, North Geelong are in 4th position, Geelong in 2nd last position. That means that North Geelong, at the moment, as things stand, they would be in Division 2. But this weekend, Western United taking on Brimbank Stallions. So you'd think that one or both of those teams will drop points. North Geelong are hosting Avondale. So there's an opportunity there for North Geelong to jump into the top 3, and that would take them through to Division 1. In the 15s, North Geelong are in 5th position, so that would ensure that they play in Division 2. And unfortunately, Geelong are at the bottom of the competition standings, and that means they would qualify automatically for Division 3. If we move over to the under-16s, as we said, these games weren't played, so they no doubt will be rescheduled at a later time, and it will be probably a midweek fixture, I'd say, between the near neighbours, North Geelong and Geelong. As things stand, North Geelong is in 6th position. Once again, Division 2 qualification. Geelong in 10th, they would be in Division 3. In the under-18s, well done to both of the Geelong teams. North Geelong in 2nd and Geelong in 3rd position. Now, if that was to stay until the end of round 11, we would basically have both those two teams playing in Division 1. That fingers crossed we can get those two under-18 teams playing in Division 1. That would be a great achievement. Let's moving over to the girls, the junior girls NPL competition. If we first of all look at the under-13s and the under-15s, well, Geelong Galaxy on the weekend, they had a bye in the under-13s competition, so they still remain in 4th spot. They don't have no qualification or a second phase. It's simply straight out home and away competition. The under-15s, they defeated the NTC under-14s 2-1. Congratulations to the Geelong Galaxy under-15s. They move into 4th position on the ladder. And well done. They beat the top side, so that's no mean feat. The goal scorers for Galaxy, Gemma Barand and Valentina Pudlia, a famous footballing surname that. And that's the under-15s. Well done to them. The under-17s, they didn't have as much luck. They went down to the NTC under-15s 1-8, a big loss there for the under-17 girls. The lone goal scorer for Geelong Galaxy was Hannah Bigmore. We move along to the Masters competition. The Masters, well, they had on the weekend, if I got my notes here. Round 11 was played by the Masters. So they had, let's go through some of those results. Or before we do that, we'll actually bring that one up on screen, the results now. And there we go. So it was round 11. It was all played on Friday night. Last minute wrangling, organising, rushing around. Congratulations to FC Leopold and Talara United Football Club. They were the hosts because of the very, very hot weather that was being forecast for all of this week. The Masters Summer League organisers were able to move the competition to Friday night. And kudos to everyone involved with this competition. I mean, to get the word around very quickly and to basically drop everything and then organise your Friday night so you're playing and at least you've got the weekend off is absolutely brilliant. So we'll go through some of those scores. Blackman's Brewery defeated FC Leopold 5-2. That game was held at FC Leopold. Also at FC Leopold, Boca Masters defeated Brewery Colo 2-0. Then we had 4 games at Lara. The big shock of the round, Security Collective Sharks taking on the Rangers Masters, previously undefeated and at the top of the competition standings. Maybe they had a few players missing out after all. They lost 2-0 to the Sharks. Armstrong United defeated Valhalla Brewing 3-0. Bell Park Soccer Club, who are in second position and now have bridged the gap to Rangers, they defeated Drysdale 2-1. And Elephant and Castle and Grovedale Rovers basically had a 0-0 draw. Well, the official stance was that they enjoyed some beers, hung out, and agreed to draw 0-0 in super cool example of sportsmanship and pragmatism. Well done there to the Elephant and Castle and Grovedale Rovers crew. There's the ladder with just a couple of games to go. Rangers at the top with 27 points, followed by Bell Park with 25. Boca Masters on 21 and Blackman's Brewery on 20. Now, there is no final in this competition. It is purely first past the post. Now, in 2 weeks' time, Friday week from now, on the 22nd of March, Geelong Rangers Soccer Club will be hosting the final round on a Friday night. There is big talk about the final actually being live streamed, but we hope to have someone from the Masters Summer League organising committee, or the board of directors, as they like to call themselves, or something along those lines, hopefully joining us on next week's program. That will be fantastic if that is the case. We'll find out exactly what is going on with that final round. It promises to be a great affair. There's going to be live music in the club rooms afterwards, and it will be an awesome opportunity for everyone to partake in what has been a very, very successful Masters Summer League. We've got pretty much, that is almost it from the news desk. Just a quick announcement, a sponsor announcement. Curva Soccer, they are having their holiday camp in the first 2 weeks of April at Geelong College on the 2nd, the 3rd and the 4th of April. In Lorne, would you believe, on the 4th and the 5th of April. All this is during the school holidays. And Torquay on the 8th, the 9th and the 10th of April. So registrations for the Easter holiday camps are now live. Come and experience our global football program delivered by Curva accredited coaches. And there's the website, curva.com.au. There's a phone number there, 0423 975 569. Or if you can't get through and you'd like to find out some more information, email geelong@curva.com.au. Curva is one of our sponsors. And by the way, make sure that you go to our website, our YouTube channel. And last week we had an exclusive interview with the Curva Coaching Geelong director or franchisee, if you like, Adrian Layer, who's also the head coach of Curva as well. Speaking of Curva, here's a short commercial break. And when we return, it will be time for Club in Focus. Tonight, we're focusing on the Geelong Rangers Soccer Club, and we'll be speaking firstly to their president, TIM SANTALUCIA. Folks, don't go away. You are tuning in to the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Soccer Show, and it is my pleasure now to be, we've got the president of the Geelong Rangers Soccer Club, and they are the club in focus this week. So, TIM SANTALUCIA, very warm welcome to the, return to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Great to have you. And we're in the dressing rooms, and how good does this look? I tell you what, this looks like something out of the EPL. But the players, the club officials and members, I guess, they're very lucky to have a pretty darn good facility up here at Myers Reserve from a player's point of view.
Thank you, Tonchi. It's been quite an evolution anyway through different presidents and committees to get to this level with our facilities, other initiatives and improvements we've made out there as well. But we're still working on things.
Let's talk about some of the personnel that have been attracted over the off-season and indeed retained. Let's talk about the senior team first of all. New coach, new technical director as well. Who's been appointed to the helm here at Myers Reserve?
Right, so probably important to note that identifying Geelong Rangers as more of a development club, development of youth, is what prompted us to look at a different coach with wider experience. So ALAN MUSCAT's our senior coach, and he's coached from State 5 to State 1, NPL 3 to NPL 1. So we thought that there's someone with a lifetime of experience, qualifications and abilities, and he interviewed well, and he's doing a fantastic job. Players love him. Our other coaches, assistant coaches, are loving him and the information, the knowledge that he has. In addition to that, we approached Vaughan Coveney, and to get a big fish, I guess you have to reel it in slowly. He is one of the biggest fish. Vaughan, again, comes with an extensive lifetime of experience in football, played for New Zealand, highest levels in Melbourne. Again, the players have responded very well to him. He can often be seen out there speaking to individuals, guiding the individuals, whether it's the reserves or the senior players, providing advice, and also to our assistant coaches. So we're looking at a change in coaching styles, focusing more on development of players, retention of those developed players, and he's been a fantastic addition as well.
Well, Vaughan Coveney, ex-New Zealand international, who was a star in the old NSL, the National Soccer League. He's coached at Western United, at Essendon Royals, has got a strong Geelong connection, having coached for several years now at Geelong Grammar. I can speak personally, having worked with him in the past, the high calibre that is. But he's also got a son who's got risen to the National Youth League levels or National Junior levels. So he's been there, done that as a player, but also as a coach and also as a parent. So bundling that all up together, that's an incredible resource available to Rangers coaches and players.
It is, and we can already see the results with our players, how they're developing attitudes and culture here at the club. It's all improved dramatically. But look, how can I put it? With every committee, with every president, there's an evolution at this club, and there's a period where that evolution or a distance that evolution can go, and then it's time for a new evolution and different priorities. And that's one of the reasons why Rangers has grown from strength to strength.
Turning our attention to the women, the senior women, there's also been a big appointment here. And was there any connection there with the fact that the senior men's coach is his dad? We, of course, speak of Ryan Horrocks, who was many times a guest on this show last week, but he's the female technical director.
Yes, Ryan's been appointed there. Again, it was more an approach about future concept, which may unravel in a couple of years' time for female football in the Geelong region, and Rangers providing him with the opportunity to apply that. So, but at the outset, we have to build up our female participation and our program before we can go that next step.
We'll talk about female participation and indeed junior participation. Very exciting times ahead. We'll talk about that shortly, but let's talk about then the junior side of things. Someone who's a very, very well-known person, very well-known identity around Geelong football circles. He's been involved with the Rangers for the last few years. And I guess he's one of those that have been retained. And of course, I speak about our good friend Pete Bradley, who's the junior technical director.
Pete is a very amazing individual, pretty understated, I think. But I think the way he has how can I say, bloomed
Yep.
in the last 6 months since the end of last season. He's had pretty free rein to do and apply his ideas, and the juniors have exploded as a result, responded well. When Pete started, I think we had one metro team. We're now at least 4 or 5 junior boys metro teams, and there's 2 or 3 of the girls metro teams as well. Now, in his second year as junior coordinator, he pretty well led his own team that he coached to not just the league champions, but the state champions in Metro.
Yeah, it's an exciting time ahead, definitely for the Rangers, both on and off the field. We've been speaking about on the field. Well, now it's time to talk about some of the off-field things that are going to happen. We're going to pack up and we're going to relocate to somewhere really, really exciting. Well, it's beautiful sunny conditions here at Myers Reserve when we're having this delightful chat, I must say. And now we've moved over to where the coaches' box is, and as you can see, this is the home team always gets stationed here. But we're going to talk, Tim, a little bit about the master plan for the whole facility. And look, it is a great facility, but it's going to get even better. We talk about sunny days. Certainly, there's some sunny days ahead for Rangers faithful, but indeed fans of football in the northern suburbs in general. But mate, let's talk about the master plan. Directly behind us is where the new club rooms are expected to be. Is that right?
Yes, proposed to be between pitch 1 and a potential future, hopefully all-weather pitch where the oval is at the moment. So we've received funding from council for the concept design drawings for the new facility, and I believe that one of our committee members has dealt with council so far about the parameters which we have to fulfil to get someone to do that for us.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about how Victoria is in such a debt state at the moment and things aren't doing too well. Council themselves have been under intense scrutiny regarding sports funding and what you're not. So obviously, unfortunately for us, these sort of things seem to put a little bit of a break on proposals and progression. But in a kind of a realistic kind of a way, when can we expect some of this to actually start to bear fruition, if you like?
Well, the master plan is for the whole of the Myers Reserve, and it's been widely accepted by our neighbouring clubs that we're next to be developed because of the age of our facilities and feasibility, etc. So, look, from a money perspective, federal, state and council are stretched, but I believe that council are focused on doing our project sooner rather than later. So if I had to pick a year, 24, maybe 2026.
Wow, I mean, how quickly time flies. You could almost say that is just around the corner, but it's certainly something that gives the current crop of football followers, and I mentioned the northern suburbs, not just Rangers, and we'll get to that in a sec, but it really gives them hope that over the next, say, 2 to 3 years, we're going to see some big improvements in the northern suburbs. But I touched on the football family overall in general. Mate, the Rangers have really been benevolent in recent months with regards to helping other clubs and organisations. And tell us a bit more about that.
Oh, that would be about pre-season. North Geelong were having their pitches redressed and made an inquiry if they could do their pre-season. And as we weren't using pitches 2 and 3, we're more than happy to host them. I think Bell Park also in recent times, I think a couple of weeks ago, they had their first FA Cup game because they didn't have change rooms because they were under construction. We were happy to host them here, and it was a really good day that day, and they supported us as much as we supported them. In addition to that, there are always schools up here playing comps and asking to use our goals, etc. So we've come up with a different approach and just unlocking the goals. We actually set up the full pitches for them, corner flags, cones, whatever they need, and I think that's just good for the development of the game.
Yeah, that must be absolutely wrapped. And I guess that's all part and parcel of marketing the club as well to the wider community, which kind of has really reaped rewards in recent years, so much so that you're telling me off air, it looks like it's going to be a record year as far as registrations are concerned.
Definitely, our mini roos have increased by about 40%, so we're well over 220 mark, I think, there, with waiting lists. And then our juniors have increased by about 50%. So that's predominantly boys juniors.
Yeah.
We've had increases in girls. We still, look, even last night we were receiving EOI inquiries, even though the EOIs have closed.
Yeah.
But if we can fit people in, then we'll fit them in.
Well, a fourth pitch is needed very, very much sooner rather than later. And as you say, an all-weather synthetic pitch would be even better, because the amount of usage that this facility gets is incredible. But that's so great to see. That look, the council cops its fair share of criticism, but at the same time, it's starting to do some wonderful things for football in the north. And this master plan, I guess, is an example of that collaboration, isn't it?
It is. It's one example, though. With our grounds at the moment, we had a bit of a bug eating the grass, and we had watering issues, and council have been incredibly responsive. Pitch 1 looks like an oasis. Pitch 2 and 3 is certainly playable and usable, when really with the weather conditions it's all dead grass under normal circumstances. Even out the back there on the football oval, with the amount of players we've got, we're utilising that, and that's being watered and maintained as well. Any other maintenance issues, door locks, damage, council's been incredibly responsive, so I can only sing their praises.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about the on-field side of things. We've talked about the off-field side of things as far as the master plan. I guess all great clubs are only as great as the members and the volunteers, and I guess that's going to be our next topic of conversation, and we'll be doing it from a very, very special place. Now we've relocated to Lynn's Cafe, named after, well, everyone knows Lynn up here at Rangers. Who doesn't know? And if you've come here as a visitor, you've certainly probably more likely than not been served by the lovely Lynn. Tell us about Lynn, first of all, and how this initiative happened, and let's talk about some of the volunteers that work so hard behind the scenes here.
Well, when asked, I like to say that Lynn's been here for 200 years, because
Lynn told.
because she has been here a very long time. In fact, she's even driven Steve Tillinger, our previous head coach, here as a junior, picked him up from home and brought him to training, and then obviously evolved to be a senior coach. Lynn's loved the club. Her son's played at the club. Her husband's been involved at the club. She's seen many volunteers come and go, and she's outlived them all in here. So she's an extremely important part of the club, as are all our volunteers, but she's certainly the standout.
And some of the other people behind. I mean, the club is so rich in history, and it would be just amiss of us to start naming individuals one by one. There's been so many over the years, past presidents, life members, coaches and officials, and what you're not. But like every club, the volunteers are the lifeblood of every club. And as we've spoken about how the Rangers family is growing quite rapidly to record numbers, you need more and more people, more and more volunteers. How are we going with regards to the number of volunteers and even the calibre of volunteers at Rangers?
Well, traditionally in season, we would allocate 2 members from a team to help in the canteen. With very few exceptions, after that experience, they leave saying, "Let me know when you need me again. I loved it, had fun."
Yeah.
Play a bit of music. There's quite a bit of banter. There's quite a variety of things to do here too, and it's a great opportunity for different families to meet other families in their team and other teams. We've never really had a shortage of volunteers, and that's fantastic at Geelong Rangers, but without volunteers, the club can't continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only volunteers, I guess sponsors, and one of the sponsors, Geelong Galvanising, have in fact sponsored this episode and this club in focus. Geelong Rangers, the first, and at the time of writing, the only club in Geelong to have supported that. So kudos to Geelong Galvanising for that. But sponsors, very, very important, and for many, many years you were involved in working with the sponsors and still do. Did you want to mention some of the main sponsors that are involved with the club here?
Viva in the northern suburbs is without a doubt the key sponsor, the bread and butter, let's say. But our largest sponsor by a long shot is Steam Pocket Foods. Mm-hmm. They support us with foods. They support us with special events. They're an incredible sponsor. We also have other known brands like Mercedes-Benz, John Deere, Mitre 10 is also a significant sponsor. So, and there are mid-tier sponsors as well.
Yeah. Steam Pocket Foods, they're kept very, very busy because several nights per week you have nights where you dinner nights for the players and parents and the coaches. And tell us a bit more about that.
Well, we cook Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we provide full proper meals. For example, last night we had quite a buffet. There was lasagna, there was chicken parmigiana, we had spanakopita, and we had barramundi fillets.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that comes your standard chips. There's nuggets. Everyone loves a chicken nugget. You also get a salad and a dessert, and we do a stir-fry vegetable as well. So they're the core meals. We've introduced last season a more healthier alternative, which is a chicken Mediterranean salad. So it's diced cucumbers, Roma tomatoes, marinated chicken tenders, avocado, Kalamata olives, and feta cheese on a bed of cos lettuce.
You can definitely tell you've got an Italian background because you know your way around food, and that's great to see. But how good is that, though? Like, many a time parents, and I'm speaking this from personal experience, parents are torn from pillar to post, taking kids to training and this, and sometimes the thing that unfortunately has to be compromised are healthy dinners. So you usually get them on a snack or something like that on the go. Heaven forbid, the takeaways do quite well. But up here, the parents can come here. They can bring their kids from other sports and whatnot, come here and have a good, healthy feed as well after their kids have finished training up here. So that's a brilliant initiative, and that has proven to be very popular with the families.
It is very popular, and we, with our trainings ending at particular times, it's structured so that we can cater comfortably to all of our teams and their families throughout the night. So it's not one big hit and we rush it all out. It's a consistent serving.
Yeah, well, we've talked about the volunteers, we've talked about the lifeblood of every club, and it's fitting, I guess, that we finish our little club in focus here in front of Lynn's Cafe and talking about the volunteers. And I guess, Tim, is there any message you'd like to send out to the Rangers faithful ahead of the 2024 season?
Yes, it's looking like a very positive season for our seniors, and we're welcoming all our new families to the club. Happy to welcome more if more want to come and join us.
Well, there you go. A big thank you to TIM SANTALUCIA, the president of Geelong Rangers Soccer Club, for his hospitality. Seamus as well. Everyone knows Seamus. He was there Friday afternoon mowing the grass and opening all the dressing rooms and everything for us. So big shout out to all those good folk at Geelong Rangers. And also when I was up there on Saturday, it was great to catch up with a lot of people there that I do know. And they are a welcoming club, and it's great to have Geelong Rangers as our club in focus for episode 2 tonight. When we return, folks, it's our turn to talk to, I guess, the newest member of the Geelong football family. He's last week we had Ante Morridge from Geelong Soccer Club, who's also new to the city, new to the town. And this time we're going to interview ALAN MUSCAT, who's the senior men's head coach up at Rangers. Don't go away, folks. This is what ALAN has to say. We'll find out what ALAN had to say after Saturday's good victory in the Australia Cup. Welcome on board also to Highland Turf Sales. They are our newest business advertising sponsor, so it's great to have them on board. But now it's time for our next guest, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show Alan Muscat, the head coach of the Geelong Rangers. Alan, good evening and welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Good evening, Tonch. Thanks for having me on, mate. It was lovely to hear Tim speak very well there about the football club.
How good was that? And it was fantastic. Like, we're trying something different this year to go out and visit the clubs that feature in the Club in Focus segment. But, mate, those dressing rooms, I was gobsmacked. I walked in there and I go, hey, this can't be Belpost Hill. This is more like somewhere in England, the EPL or something like that. It's and plus all those little rooms. We didn't show all those little rooms. There's a whole maze of little rooms and hideaways and what you're not. It's actually quite fantastic facilities, isn't it, for State 2?
Yeah, I'm still trying to find my way, navigate myself around those rooms, mate. To be honest, get lost myself. No, look, the senior boys get looked after very well there, Tonch. The club's obviously invested a lot in the change room for the players, and I think it's, this is before my time. These change rooms were developed for the seniors, but yeah, look, I think it's you want it to feel homely, welcoming, and that's their home, away from homes, most of the time, so which is great.
Well, I can't wait for the master plan to actually kick in, the new club rooms that are going to be built between pitch 1 and pitch 4. And that obviously will also mean there'll be upgrades to the dressing rooms as well. So Myers Reserve in years to come will be an absolute fantastic venue. But, mate, let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about yourself. Let you introduce yourself to the Geelong footballing community. We welcome you with open arms, mate. You're part of the city by the bay now. But tell us a bit about Alan Muscat and the Alan Muscat coaching story.
Yeah, look, Tonch, I'm probably to my 12th, 13th year of a senior coach at the moment. My journey started about 12, 13 years ago down at Stead Park as an assistant coach when they were in State 2, State 3, along with Saj Bezhanovsky. Worked with him for a couple of years, and after 2 years, took over the reins there and guided the club to finish second in State 1 and top 4 or 5 year after. So that was my tenure there. After that, went down to Sunshine George Cross, or Caroline Spring George Cross, as they know now. Spent a couple of years there working with Tony Chunt and Vaughan Coveney down there for a couple of years. And when they moved to the new facility, obviously I moved on from there and spent the last probably 4 or 5 years working at Altona Football Club. Took the reins over there when they were in State 4 and had some success there with the club, got him a couple of promotions, and State 2 unfortunately got relegated last year, but it's been a very good, enjoyable 4 or 5 years there, and took a break halfway through the year last year. Obviously things aren't working out the way I wanted them to, so decided to move on and took a break, and that's sort of how Geelong came up this year. Sort of spoken to a few people, obviously Vaughan Coveney, who you spoke about earlier, employed by the football club as a technical advisor, and sort of Vaughan approached me to have a chat to the football club and see what their journey was about. And met Tim and his board and a few other external people. And that's rest is history sort of thing, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a fascinating series of events that eventually led to your appointment at the Rangers. But let's talk about I guess there's footage there from Saturday's game, and I guess this was your debut, wasn't it? I mean, there's been the Geelong Community Cup, there's been a couple of practice matches, but this was really the first main competitive outlet. And look, there's a lot of new players, a lot of young players that have come to the club from other clubs, players that had been brought up at Rangers that have come back now. Very, very exciting. You must be pretty thrilled with that first win up, or are you, or were you?
Yeah, look, Tonch, obviously you were there yourself, mate. So, look, I mean, it was very trying conditions, man. I probably got a lot of sunburn from Saturday still, mate, to be honest, 2 days later. Still trying to recover. Look, for us, it was a good opportunity to, showcase what we've put in the hard work over the last 7-8 weeks. I mean, where our journey started back in, middle of November. Obviously, recruiting players and, retaining the majority of the playing squad was probably the most important thing for me. They've got a lot of good young kids and a lot of senior boys. It was very important for us to retain the players that we've kept, and obviously bring in new players that, they got to complement the squad that we had, mindful of the club's, the way the club culture is and so forth. And that's something I didn't want to go away from. So it was very important to me to bring the right people to the football club. And I think, look, so far, so we've had a very good pre-season, very productive, obviously on and off the park. It's been good. The culture that we've tried to create and tried to implement with the playing structure and our philosophy of football, the way we want to play the game. The boys have bought into it, and look, like I said, it's been a pleasure for me to be there. And look, Saturday, as I said, probably wasn't the best game to watch, Park, but I think the boys put in a good shift in the trying conditions. And look, they're a very good outfit, ESQ, for a State 5 team. They come here with a very good game plan, and they executed it very well. Found it hard to break them down, but look, these are all learnings from the lads and the guys that come off the bench. Did a job as well. So look, satisfied to get the result, but where we need to be, we've still got a bit of work to get there. We've got a couple of weeks for round one, and just trying to integrate the players that we've got, that we've brought in the next 4 training sessions before we start round one.
I'll tell you a little secret. I was meant to be up there for only about half an hour at most, grab a bit of footage, and I had a family function that I had to organise and be at later that evening. But I just couldn't. I actually started watching and got so engrossed in the game. And as you said, it was very hot and trying conditions, and just trying to find some bits of shade up there at Myers Reserve. But what really impressed me was Kai Williams, so the former Geelong Rangers junior, who went to North Geelong, and I commentated a lot of North Geelong games last year when they were in the NPL, and Kai was just breaking into the senior team, but it was so exciting, so electrifying with his pace. But then combined with Jordan Savinsky there at the top of the attack, the son of a famous Geelong footballing export, Adrian, and then you've got Anthony Piratina, former Bell Park boy, who's there now. That attacking three, I mean, that alone, one, they're homegrown, so they're all local players, but two, they're all young, they're all very, very good. And when they combine, we saw Jordan Savinsky laying off the ball for Hugo Lebon, the substitute. They are very, very good at producing that attacking football. Mate, that must have you pretty excited going forward with the calibre of some of those young players you got at your disposal.
Yeah, look, you hit the nail on the head there, Tonch. I think with the young players that we've retained from the football club, was very sort of one of my mantras was this year to make sure we maintain the core group of the players from last season. I think, the only player that we've lost from the football club was our club captain, Connor Redden, who's obviously moved on to North Geelong. But what is very important for me to maintain the core group of the players, and obviously from the youngsters to the older players that we've got. You've just sort of tapped into a few of the younger players that we've got playing in the front third there. Look, very exciting kids, very exciting. The kids are willing to learn, the kids are listening. And then, like I said, you work your way from the back with the experience we've got through, obviously Hayden Vanders in the back as well. And you got Nick Cos and, Jimmy Hiddich and a few other lads that we've got playing it through this team. Look, it's exciting for the football club to have these players that are invested. That's the most important thing, are there for the right reasons. It's coming from the Melbourne, circus, I call it sometimes. It's a bit different, having these guys that want to be at the club for the right reasons. And hopefully, like I said, it's, hopefully it works for us as a football club, and we move forward and we progress, and all we want to do as a team is be very competitive and set good standards, and play a good brand of football that exciting to watch, and have good people around the football club. It's good for us. Like I said, the club's been very welcoming to me and myself, and obviously Vaughan's new as well. But the coaching staff they've got around me, it's fantastic. Got Darren McCallum, I've got Troy Hardy, Brian Klein working with me as well. They've been absolutely fantastic. Open with open arms, and like I said, have guided me in the right direction. I've got you met Ramon, my team manager, out there, and I've come from as an outsider's perspective. And these guys are Rangers people through and through, and I really feel homely coming to these people, and there's a lot of respect there between everybody, which is great.
Big cheerio to Ramon, by the way. I'm blaming you, Ramon, for me missing that first goal, because Ramon was so hospitable and actually going through the team sheet with me and telling me who the new players were. And there was a lot of new players. And we just looked up all of a sudden into the second minute, and Rangers have scored. And we go, who was that? Who was that? And it was Kai Williams. So well done to everyone involved there. And you're absolutely right. The level of the welcoming, the welcome that these people put on, and you just mentioned all of those homegrown coaches, and they've welcomed you with open arms. So kudos to all the gentlemen there. Now let's talk about the season launch that's coming up this weekend. So officially, I guess that kicks the season off in that sort of a way this Saturday. So the Rangers are inviting all players, partners, parents, past players, life members, sponsors, and supporters to the 2024 senior season launch, and that includes obviously the men and the women. There's a photo of Tony Horrocks, the senior women's captain, coach as well. And his son, Ryan, who was coaching at Lara United last year, he's also, as we heard from Tim, he's now the women's technical director or head of women's football there at Rangers. $20 entry. It includes finger food, drinks at bar prices, and the captains will be revealed. So we're not going to ask you, Alan, now who's the captain for this year. All will be revealed on Saturday. But let's talk about round one. That's not too long, not far off. In a couple of weeks' time. Who are you playing, and where are you playing that game?
Yeah, so round one's 23rd of March, a week before Easter. So we play the newly promoted Uni Hill Eagles. A very good team. A lot of experience. I know them very intimately. Watched them play, and look, it's yourself, Tonch. These state leagues, mate. It's from state 2 downwards. It's open slather for everybody. There's no visa restrictions.
Yep.
So clubs can fill their teams with visa players, and obviously clubs got very healthy budgets in these leagues. But look, it's exciting to be part of. Like I said, that's something that we are looking really forward to. Being competitive and obviously setting standards and making it hard for clubs to come up to Geelong and take points off us. That's something that we want to do. But I think it's going to be a very interesting round one. I mean, we've had a very good pre-season, but that gets thrown out the window come round one. All these results mean nothing come round one.
Yeah, well, Uni Hill Eagles, that's on the 23rd of March, Saturday, at home. So there's a lot of the Geelong teams will be playing at home. So it's going to be quite crazy if you're trying to go from ground to ground. But definitely Myers Reserve, Saturday, 23rd of March is the place to go if you're a Rangers fan or if you want to watch some really good quality local football against Uni Hill Eagles. Mate, thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to having you on throughout the season. It has been a pleasure getting to know you and getting to talk to you. We wish you all the very best for season 2024, Alan, and to everyone at the Rangers.
Yeah, appreciate the warm welcoming, and it was nice to meet you the other day too, Tonch.
Yeah, great. It was, wasn't it? We've go back. We've had you on the Football Out West show, and it was as you mentioned about the state leagues. One of the things I really loved was getting to know some of the clubs, the lower division clubs that you don't really hear much about. And there's some really passionate people at all these clubs, and certainly Geelong Rangers is definitely no exception. So great to meet you in person, Alan. I look forward to watching more Rangers games this year.
Thanks for your time, Tonch.
Good on you. Alan Muscat, the head coach of the Geelong Rangers senior men's team. There's a lot of good things happening up at Rangers. And if your club would like to be featured in our Club in Focus segment, it's very easy. Give us send us an email, communitysportsmedia@gmail.com, or there's a phone number there, 0402 012 716, and we'd love to feature your club. Geelong Rangers, the only club in Geelong out of 18, 19 clubs that have supported this show in a tangible way, in a fundamental way. But I know there's been other clubs that have expressed interest. We want those clubs to commit as well, and I'm sure there will be a few announcements over the next coming weeks with regards to our next featured club, and one in particular I'm quite excited about what is happening in a couple of months' time. Folks, thank you very much for being a part of this week's show. Next week, we hope to have someone from the Masters Summer League, and we also hope to have a few more other guests as well. But drop us a line, pop it in the comments section. Do you like this new format that we're exercising this year? Or, did you prefer what we had last year? And if you're not sure what we had last year, go onto our YouTube channel. All of our past episodes, past interviews, past features are all there archived for you to enjoy on days like today when it's so hot, too hot to go outside. It's better to stay indoors. Thank you very much once again, and we'll have your company next Monday night for episode 128 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Good night.